What's up, everybody?
My name is Anthony Irvin.
You beat yourself?
Yeah, CB myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Jim Green.
Don't even need a hit of traffic light.
Okay, good.
Welcome to
One set. What's up, everybody? How we doing? Welcome back to another episode of the One Set Podcast. My name is Jim Green, along with my co-host, my best friend, Anthony Irvin. What's going on, brother?
What's up, guys? How you doing? Yeah, doing good, man. Like I was telling you off air, Friday I took off of work because I was having back spasms Thursday night. Holy hell! This is the first time I've ever had that I've ever had like that happen to me, and it was the worst pain that I've ever felt. It just felt like somebody was just like constantly like punching my lower back and just like with 1,000 knives just stabbing my back. It was painful. And I think it probably had to do with this lingering cough that I was dealing with over these last couple months. And just weakening that area around my back. And so I had to take off of work and went to the urgent care, got some medicine, and I don't think I've ever had like a muscle relaxer before. So, taking that, I know some of them can be pretty powerful, but the doctor was saying, yeah, I'm going to give you a full dose, but only take half. Because if you take a full one, it's going to knock you down. So take only half. And then if that's not enough, then you can probably take the full. But I only took half. I took half Friday evening. I passed out at like 9 o'clock. So I didn't even watch like all the SmackDown. So now I'm like, okay, so if I am going to take it in the afternoon, and so it won't affect you too much. So I've just been taking it more in the morning, and I don't get that like crash at night. So, but now thankfully my back's, healing up, and, it was more just, stretching it out, taking the medicine, and thankfully my back hasn't been like crazy in pain, but that whole thing Thursday was nuts. I've never experienced like a back spasm. I mean, I've dealt with lower back pain. I think everybody's dealt with some type of lower back pain before, but that was just crazy. Like it was to the point where I was just in constant pain, and it's like one of those pains like you can't like you were like breathing, and it was like so hard to breathe at certain points because it was just constantly stabbing your back. It was nuts.
Sucks getting old, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Like I had another old moment, so yeah.
I was like, oh man, Anthony's a dad. He's got two little ones and he's chasing after them. But it does make sense.
And the other one just like to jump on my neck all the time, so that's probably half the reason too. But yeah.
You had that like mild case of RSV back before Thanksgiving, right? Like, so
Yeah. So it was something, yeah.
been lingering for like 2 months at this point, which is just
Yeah, I
brutal
mean,
to
it's
think.
to the point where it's finally like out of my system, but I'm having, just some lingering after effects. But I feel like I'm definitely like out of the cycle that I was in. So I'm just having like these lingering things here and there, but it is like especially the beginning of the year, nothing like what I was. And I mean, obviously you've seen on the podcast, I was still trying to do the podcast with everything, but it was to the point where I couldn't go almost like a minute without having a coughing attack or something. So, thank you for everybody bearing with me throughout these last, uh, you know, 2 months or so. But, thankfully everything's okay. And, yeah, it wasn't stopping me from watching the Royal Rumble this weekend, though. I thought we had a pretty fun time. We had, Jim, Cheyenne, and a couple of our friends. I had my brother and his kids come over, his family, and so we all had a little Royal Rumble party. It was pretty fun, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Rumble later. But I think we want to first talk about our Philadelphia Eagles and the Super Bowl 59. How about we start off with that a little bit?
Absolutely, man. I was telling you, like before we started recording, one of my students asked me when I was teaching tonight, uh, they asked, "You excited for the Super Bowl?" And I was like, "I was
Hmm.
excited for it last week, Now I'm like, can we just
Yeah,
get to the freaking game,
especially
please?
the 2 week
Like,
wait of Super Bowl, because I mean you got the Pro Bowl. But by the way, I mean I didn't get to watch. I watched maybe 2 seconds of the Pro Bowl. I heard really obviously the Pro Bowl is really not anything special. I think it's kind of the same way with like the NBA All Star Game. It's really nothing. It used to be competitive, but now there's no defense. It's just a dunking contest and a shooting contest. Where I'm sure it's almost the same thing with with football. It's like nobody's really trying to get hurt. They don't even play with pads, so I understand you're not going to get hurt for a low important game like that. But it's especially when you're thinking of that, it's mainly for the fans. So you want to see a competitive game, but you want to be safe as well. But definitely like the 2 week wait in between Super Bowl, especially if your team is in the Super Bowl. It's like the first week you're like, okay, let me get through this week. Then when you get to that week leading up to it, you're like, okay, just get me to Sunday, get me to Sunday, get me to Sunday.
I don't remember the wait feeling this long the last time we went to the Super Bowl. I think it's more so like how do I want to say
Now,
this?
are you talking 22 or are you talking
I
17?
feel like I feel
Okay,
22. Like
right.
our last trip to the Super Bowl. I I think this go around there's just way higher hopes that the Eagles are going to be able to pull it off. I feel like the last time it was like, all right, Eagles are good. Like the Eagles are pretty good. They made it there, but like Chiefs are the better
I think there
team,
was a lot
probably,
more
right?
things to talk about in the first one because you had the Kelsey brothers doing their thing. They had the podcast going, and it was brother against brother. Then you had Jalen being in his first Super Bowl. You had Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey. Starting the dynasty because they've won that since the last two. So now obviously this is going to be the third if they win, but I feel there was a lot more uh things to talk about within those 2 weeks where now it's like it's the same two teams, but you don't have the Kelsey versus Kelsey because Jason Kelsey's retired at this point. uh you know it's a different, it's obviously I think maybe two different teams than what they were 2 years ago. But I think especially this year I feel we're definitely way more healthier than what we were in 22. I think I mentioned that last podcast, but I
Right.
definitely think we are way more healthier, and I think we're just more focused this time. There's just something different about this squad than the 22 squad.
I just feel like our weapons on offense. Um, I don't want to say namely Saquon
Yeah.
Barkley, but he's just like he helps really give our team like the it
Yeah.
factor, and then everything, but everyone else moving around him on the O line is solid, and then we have the number one defense in the league. So it's like I just feel like 2 years ago when the Chiefs beat us for the first time, yikes,
Hmm.
um, it was kind of like okay, either
Hmm.
team could win, right? Um,
Yes.
you can still hear me, right? Uh, Sorry about that.
Um,
My computer is trying to open Apple Music for some reason. I guess
yeah,
when
click the
my
button.
thing fell out, I hit something. Yeah, so sorry about
No.
that little delay, y'all. I just feel like they were two teams that were like they were
Hmm.
good, obviously, right? But I feel like this time it's the Chiefs are chasing the three-peat dynasty, but the Eagles have it all going on. So I do feel like it's anybody's game, but the stakes are a lot
Yeah,
higher for this one.
absolutely. I mean, yeah.
So I feel like the weight this time is just like the anticipation is a lot higher this go around, I think. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like I'm just trying to get I'm trying to wake up and be awesome and get through my days to just get
Yeah,
us to Sunday.
definitely. And
So
I saw a statistic today that, being that we do have the number one defense, a statistic from WIP, what they said this morning, that I think number one defenses that go into the Super Bowl are 10-2. Something between that
mm,
statistic. They've
I
been like 10-2 over the last couple of years, and I think it was like the Seahawks, and a couple other teams that had, you know, that they were probably not the most massive teams to win, but they had a great defense, and that's what gave them the win. So hopefully, that statistic will play into our favor, and I think if we get to Mahomes a lot more times than they expect, now hopefully the refs are just not going to cost us a game this time, and hopefully the reps. I mean, they're going to have their calls. We're not going to be able to get a game where they're not going to make some phony calls because they've been doing it all season. Not even just with the Chiefs. There've been phony calls all around the NFL.
I think it's a good thing that like the official what is it, union, like the union that the officials work under,
Yeah,
like they're responding to the conspiracies that they vibe with the Chiefs, and they're like it's insulting and da 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 da. So I
right.
think it's good that they're at least acknowledging that they understand it's a thing. So
Uh,
maybe they'll mind their freaking P's and Q's on Sunday.
right. So it's just more the fact that you, if anything, you just want to see a fair game. You don't want a game to be decided on some type of ref call that could have just been, and going back into seeing how that last play played out from 22. I mean, when you look back at that last penalty with the hold, he did hold the defender, but it's on the same aspect that, you know, just let it play out because the ball definitely was not catchable. It was maybe 5 yards ahead of the guy. So the guy was not going to catch that anyway. If the ball was catchable and they called the flag, I think it would have been I wouldn't have been as bad. But I think there's more controversial because it was not a catchable pass and you called the flag. And
Yeah, that
that pretty much cost them the game. So, you know, it can go either way. Hopefully, it's just the fact that we don't have to really worry about trying to beat the Chiefs and the refs. We just have to worry about one person.
yeah. Is is Brandon Graham confirmed to play?
I don't think they made him active yet. I think they might wait maybe until later the week. But I think he is he is, or they haven't activated him for the game, but he is practicing.
Yeah, so he'll practice tomorrow and he'll practice Thursday.
Yeah,
They probably won't activate him for the game until he gets to practice Wednesday and Thursday, and then they'll be like, yeah, he's good to go, and
yeah.
then
I don't
activate
see
him.
them saying anything until like maybe Thursday. I mean Friday or Saturday at the very latest. But I would think probably by Friday we should be able to know something of how he was doing because I think before they left for New Orleans, he was having a couple practice days and he was feeling good. But
Yeah,
I
I'm
think it'll
sure there's a
decide on
I'm
how he
sure
feels this week.
I'm sure there's like like a specific time before the game that you have to make the call,
Yes.
and I feel like for the Super Bowl it's probably a little sooner just to give the opposing team a little bit of time to regroup and plan in case if a
Mhm.
player is activated kind of thing. Um,
Yeah, I would think probably it's maybe like 24, 48 hours. Something along those lines, like that. I think maybe like 24, 48 hours before the game, like you have to have all injury, uh, your injury list in and who's on IR or whatever. So I could be wrong, but I know it's at least not like it's usually in way before the game. But
okay. I I was watching the Pat McAfee show and then covering uh, Super Bowl betting trends, and
mm,
I had I'm giving them the credit that that's where I'm getting this information from, but just think it's really interesting. So this is betting trends, but it obviously plays into the likelihood of which team will win or not win, and
Right.
it's just odds and probability. It's not like set in stone done deal, but it's just interesting numbers. So this was as of yesterday, and we're recording Tuesday night. It's now Wednesday morning, but
Hmm.
this is as of Monday. 69% of the bets are on the Eagles, and
Hmm.
this is with Kansas City being favored by a point and a half. I think that's been the spread since last week, which that number generally doesn't move until you get closer to the Super Bowl game
Oh
itself.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the
Thursday, Friday,
Chiefs,
Saturday is going to be doing a lot of moving.
yeah, the Chiefs are 7-0 against the spread in the playoffs when the spread is less than 3. So that's kind of a
Mhm.
scary statistic, right?
Yeah.
Um, Eagles have had the lead at halftime in 13 of their last 15 games and led by 10 versus Kansas City in Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, that doesn't say too much for the outcome of the game in general. It just kind of says in the Eagles had the lead at halftime, 13 of their 15 last games. I'm going to say if the Eagles have a shot at winning, they have to be in the lead at halftime.
Yeah. Yeah. We can't play from behind unless it's like a situation where you're in the fourth quarter, last 5 minutes of the game, we're down by a touchdown, and you're relying on the defense to make that one more stop so we can get the ball back, and we pretty much just have the rest of the time to try to tie the game or win the game.
Yeah.
And
Um,
you know, I would much rather hope that a touchdown or a I would much rather hope that a touchdown wins us the game than having to worry about winning by a field goal and relying on Jake Elliott right now.
it,
Jake Elliott is scaring me so much about this game, and
it,
we never had to worry about him, but he's been missing important kicks the last couple weeks.
it,
So it's like,
and I've been thinking this whole time and not wanting to speak it. Like, I hope it doesn't come down to all the pressures on him in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, because, like, I,
yeah,
I will have a really hard time watching watching it, like actually watching the TV to see what happens. I might just be like,
yeah,
just tell me what happens. Tell me if he makes it or not, or look away
yeah.
and hear the
I
like.
mean, he missed the one in the Commanders game, but then he made the rest of them. So, you know,
He, he missed an extra point. He made the field goal,
he made the field goal. He missed an extra point.
but he made all of the other extra
He
points.
made
He
all
just missed.
he made all the extra ones.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's not like he is missing 50, 60 yarders, and which, you can kind of be okay with that because, that's a harder field goal to miss, but, he's missing, chip shots
yeah. It's
essentially
like from 30 to 40 yards out is it's just
within the
crazy to
30,
think.
40 yard range. And usually those were just money in the bag for him.
Yeah,
So not sure if it's just his focus or just him with his age. I don't think he's really that old, but just, being in the league and stuff and just showing, okay, you know, his legs getting older. He's not, you know, maybe not, but, again, athletes' times are very, you know, limited. So you can kind of start telling when a athlete's starting to, show their age and everything. So
yeah.
hopefully we don't have to worry about Jake Elliott. Hopefully he is coming in focused. He hits his field goals or extra points, and we don't have to worry about it.
I think win or lose, they get a new kicker going forward. Like, if they had to change one thing
I
about the team, it's him. Like thank you for your service and all of your years. We love you,
Mhm.
but like we need a reliable kicker that it's like this guy's a stud. Jake Elliott's been too scary this season, so it's like if you had to make a move, you had to make a change. That for sure is one of them for me. I don't know. I don't know what his contract looks like or when it's up.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know we do have a backup right now, which our backup's really good. But again, he's not Jake Elliott. But
I
that would
feel
obviously
like
be
it
the first one to replace him. But I would definitely think we would be looking at a new kicker sooner than later.
if
Hopefully,
Jake
depending
Elliott
on
has another year or two on his contract, I would say at the beginning of the season next year, just get your backup kicker in there to like get some reps in, like get some practice. Just
absolutely
like keep Elliott on the bench and be like, we gotta do what's right for the longevity of the team. Um, not say bench him and just don't play him at all, but like
right.
just share the love, right? Let's run down the rest of this list real quick. The underdogs have covered 13 of the last 17 Super Bowls, and the
Hmm.
Eagles are plus 1.5. So I mean that's like, oh, if the if the Chiefs won by 1 point, the Eagles would still cover the spread. I
Hmm.
think is how that works. Any
Right.
rate, I don't do any sports betting, so I'm not like too familiar with it.
I haven't done any sports betting in like the last couple seasons.
Yeah. The team with the better regular season record is 2-19-1 against the spread in the last 22 Super Bowls. Kansas City had the better regular season record.
Right.
So this is suggesting that Kansas City isn't going to cover the spread, which I like
Right.
that. White jersey has won 16 of the past 20 Super Bowls. Kansas City is the away team because they rotate back and forth between AFC and NFC every other year
Yeah.
because the game is always at a not home stadium.
Yeah. It's neutral for either one, so it's not like you're getting an advantage for either team. It's a neutral zone for both teams, which I like. I mean, you don't get the advantage. So
Yeah, I think when we won the Super Bowl 2017, the Super Bowl was in Minnesota, and the Vikings were in the NFC Conference Championship. And I
that's
know
right.
this,
We're trying to get
my
over on the Eagles so they can at least get to the Super Bowl or NFC
and
in
they
their arena.
the Vikings would have been the first to hold the Super Bowl in their home stadium. Like a guy I was working with at Monsters when I was traveling was from Minnesota, and he said after the Eagles beat them, he was like, "We were supposed to be the first team to host the Super Bowl at home, like ever." And I was like, "I don't know what to tell you,
Sorry.
man. Sucks to be you. Sorry,
Right.
not sorry." Yeah.
Sorry.
Um. So Kansas City is going to be in the white jerseys because they're away. I guess we're just going to rock our
I
like
I think I think they're wearing the dark green jerseys.
dark green. Yeah, that
A
sounds
lot of
right.
people are saying it'll be sick to wear the Kelly green jerseys for the Super Bowl, but I think they're wearing the dark green for the
Yeah,
Super Bowl,
that
like they did
that
last
makes
time.
sense. Oh, last one. The under. This is for like the over under for total points. The under has hit 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls, but the Chiefs and Eagles in Super Bowl 57 combined for the second most points ever in a Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So the score was 38-35. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I don't remember what the score was last time. Or
Pretty sure pretty
you know,
sure it was 38-35. I'll look super quick. Um 38-35, that would be a combined 73 points, which is a lot, right?
right.
Um Super Bowl 57, 38-35. Yeah, so that was 73 points. And that was, what was I saying here? Yeah, the under has hit, and the over under is 48.5 points.
Hmm.
So, if we get um, a 27-20, you're on the underside. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game than that. I don't know about you. Do you have your score pick yet?
I don't have the score pick yet, but I do think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I think it'll be kind of close to the same score as last time. I think it's going to come down to both teams scoring and who's going to make a mistake first, and then that
Yeah,
team will pull away.
I met up with Mike yesterday for brunch, and he's like, "What are you feeling?" And I was like, "I'm thinking 45-35 Eagles." Like I was like, "I think we're going to win by 10." Now, 45-35 total of 80 points is a lot, but I think the Eagles are going to put up a lot of points, and I think Kansas City is going to fight back and put up a lot of points too. Like I think it's
Yeah, because I mean, you can't. I mean, yeah, we're rooting for the Birds. We think they can beat them, but you cannot deny how good the Chiefs are, no matter what. I mean, they
mhm,
can put up scores really quick. They can really put a lot of damage to you if you're not uh careful. So yeah, Mahomes and Travis. I feel even if you take away Travis and you take away one or two of Mahomes' daggers, that will definitely determine the game too. But if you just let them go on a spree and our defense doesn't come out and show out, it'll be over really quick. But I'm hoping to see, because I think Cooper DeJean is probably going to be the one guarding Travis Kelsey, from what they said.
mhm.
So he, if he takes him out like he did Derrick Henry, it's going to be an awesome night for Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
But I think they got their work cut out for him.
So last year's Super Bowl score, Kansas City Chiefs and San Francisco 49ers. The Chiefs won in overtime 25-22 by a field goal again.
Yeah.
So they beat us by a field goal, they beat them by a field goal, and I think that's why everyone's saying Eagles have to have a full score touchdown
Mhm.
ahead so that they can't just slide in and get those easy three to win the
Yeah,
game.
and we cannot at the end of the game be giving Patrick Mahomes the ball. So if there's a point where hopefully it goes our way, where we have the ball at the end, and hopefully we're not chasing. But I was saying off air that it could come down to, if we are down a touchdown or something, we're going to be relying on our offense and Jalen to bring us home, to bring us a win, either by Barkley giving us a great touchdown, AJ Brown or Devontae Smith having a big catch to get us into field goal range or something. You know, I think we're going to see the best of the best out of each team. But
Yeah,
I think the way that the Eagles are playing this year, they know this is where they wanted to be in the beginning of the season. It's what they worked for, so they're putting it all on the line. I know Brandon Graham, if he is activated, he's putting it all on the line. So,
yeah,
you know, it's going to be a fun game, and I like you said, just get me to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's
yeah,
Tuesday, Wednesday right now, but we're halfway through the week. But get me to Sunday, man. I'm ready for
yeah,
this
yeah. I'm just kind of like
game.
I'm trying to just focus on each day and be like, what do I got to do, and just be like
Yeah,
proactive, keep myself
get ready
busy,
to
like
ring,
stay
yeah,
on the
just
grind.
talking about it, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's like waiting for a party. Like, okay, party's on Sunday. All right, got to get through this day, get through that day. Like, no, like, come on, give me the goods, give me the goods.
yeah,
Have you ever wanted to start your podcast but didn't know where to start? The One Set Bros are here to talk to you about Zencaster. Zencaster is the ultimate based podcasting solution and now the all-in-one podcasting platform, making podcasting easy. They've sure made it easy for us to be able to record our podcast and our episodes every week for you guys. Once you've set up your account, you're simply one click away from recording a high-quality podcast with studio quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. My personal favorite feature is their multi-layered backups, which ensure our recordings are always in the highest quality, even during unstable web connections. And if you thought you needed multiple tools and services for your podcast, Zencaster's all-in-one podcasting platform allows you to create your podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple, and other major destinations. Go to Zencaster.com/pricing and use our code OneSetPod, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencaster paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience as we do with all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story.
I'll tell you what actually really helped break up the 2 week span between our NFC Championship win and the Super Bowl on Sunday was the Royal Rumble. Like I was
That
excited at
is
the
true.
I was excited at the beginning of last week about us headed to the Super Bowl, and then I think by Thursday, I was like, okay, the Rumble is in 2 days, and then my whole focus was like Rumble, and then
Yeah.
after the Rumble, I had a busy work day on Sunday, and then we got to Raw Monday night, and definitely some WrestleMania implications taking shape. Dude, I just want to say thank you again, Anth, for having us over to watch the Rumble. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it was a
Um,
great time.
I I can't remember the last time that we got together for a pay per view. It was before you had kids, right?
Is that true? Yeah.
I think so.
We haven't had a wrestling party in a while, so yeah, it's been a little bit. Wow, thanks for bringing that up. That's yeah, definitely probably before having kids, and now that Anthony and little Chris are starting to really get into wrestling, it's going to be easier for us to kind of do things like that. But okay, I mean they like it. Let's just start, you know, doing little, maybe not every pay per view, but maybe we'll
Yeah,
have a WrestleMania. Maybe we'll do like a SummerSlam, like you know the bigger ones. You don't have to do every single one,
yeah,
but you know, it's cool to just see them interacting with everything, and
yeah. It
it's
was.
been a while because this Royal Rumble, it was stacked. So
Mhm.
and there was so many unpredictable ways, and even the outcome, you know, with Jey Uso, even I was saying like it'd be cool for Jey Uso to win that. He deserves it, but I don't think he's gonna win it. I mean, like we said last week, we both anticipated on Punk getting it.
Yeah, but you actually kept saying they might go Jey Uso, and I was like, I don't see it happening. Let,
Yeah,
let me let me put it this way. Vince McMahon was not one for giving the Rumble to just like an up and coming star. Like that
mm,
didn't that didn't happen that often. Not in the last 5, 10 years. That wasn't a
no,
thing. It was your already well established guys were basically getting it every time, right?
yep,
Um,
yep.
so Jey Uso getting it came down to Jey Uso and John Cena. Well, they got rid of Punk. Like Punk got eliminated, and you were like, it's got to be Cena at this point. And then it was
Uh,
down, and then once it got down, I think who was the third guy in there with them? So was it Logan Paul?
yes, it was Logan Paul.
I think once Logan was out, I was like, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
it feels like Cena, but like I still felt like they've been promoting Cena for being in Toronto for the Chamber.
we've been saying that the whole time, and even during the Royal Rumble, they had little things for the elimination chamber and Cena being in most of those promos for it. So
Yeah, and that to
again,
me was just like,
Cena's gonna win or go far in the chamber,
yeah, why would Cena win the Rumble and then what's he doing at the Chamber? That's such a big deal.
right? So him giving the rub to Jay, giving him his moment, and again, we've been waiting for this big moment for Jay over the last year because like I told you Saturday, I haven't seen the crowd this much into somebody than since Daniel Bryan doing the yes stuff, where the whole crowd in that arena is just like bam, bam,
I
in
I
unison.
I didn't feel like it was anywhere near Daniel Bryan level until Raw on Monday night.
Yes, I thought
Raw Monday night. I was just watching. Did you watch that in real time?
I did.
We weren't
Yeah,
we weren't even texting each other. I was just like, I hope he sees this right now because this is insane. Like how long this is going on, and like most people, I would dog on them because I'm like, you've got to fight through these emotions and get through your promo. If you want to be champion, you've got to
yeah,
be able to do this. But Jey Uso, I was like, this is such an organic feel, and they're
yeah.
on Netflix. They're on Netflix, so they don't have the hard cutoff time. So
Right.
he got to take his grand old time trying to get through it, and I was sitting here like, come on, dude. I started like he started making his way through, and even
Yeah.
I was like getting a little like the waterworks were starting to flow. I was like, come on, buddy, you can do this. You can do this. I was like actually championing him. I was like, come on.
Yeah,
Um,
I was saying to Jen, like, you can tell this is like him being raw.
yeah,
Uh, no
no pun
pun.
intended.
No
Yeah,
pun. But like you could tell, like, because he was like stuttering with his words a little bit, and he was like trying to get the things out there, but couldn't get the full thing of what he wanted to say. I'm like, he's going off the cuff. He's not reading like off of like what he was supposed to say. This is him raw, being as organic as he can be.
I
So it
feel
was
like
cool
I
that
feel like
it's good that they. Yeah, I was just about to say, it had to be a Triple H thing for him to be like, hey, go out there and say what you want to say. You deserve it, you know. And I mean, I'm happy for Jay. Like we said, we've been uh waiting for this type of moment, and if anything to boost you into that upper level, eliminating the top guy in the wrestling world at this point, John Cena, what better way to kick you into that next stardom level?
yeah. I mean, for people to deem him the greatest of all time, I don't think that that's a far stretch. Um, and I
Right,
know people will debate Hogan, not Hogan. People will talk, oh, Cena didn't do what Rock and Austin did. Yeah, it's
right.
really hard to compare to the Attitude Era, okay, when that was like the big wrestling boom, right?
hmm I was just gonna say two different eras, and you know you can compare certain things, but just like the Jordan LeBron thing, there's always going to be comparisons, but two different eras, two different ways the game was played, two different eras with wrestling where, you had a lot of things that they were able to just get away with. Where at this point, Cena was dealing with, a point where you couldn't do a lot of those things on. So you had to really think outside the box and figure out ways to get you over. And again, in the 90s they didn't have the internet like how wrestlers have today, where they can start their own individual followings outside of the ring, and just really continue to get people to invest in them. Where the 90s, you were just, the only way really to do it was just obviously getting out there and getting your face seen and just having good matches.
Yeah,
Still the same thing today, but now you can also build your own brand, uh, and have it being done on the internet to gain that many more followers. So
well, the
kind of hard when it
the
comes to like doing errors and stuff, but there's
yeah,
always going to be somebody that's better. Uh, but
I think Cena is in the conversation though for sure because I mean he was the top guy in the company for I mean close to 15 years, right?
yeah, I think it's probably been that amount of time, because when Cena came in, I was obviously not watching,
Yeah,
and
he
my
was like he was like 2004, 2005 when he
yeah,
won his first title, and then you jump to um
2012
yeah if
roughly.
yeah 2012 would be his Mania 29 match with The Rock, which was like
hmm Run it
yeah
back.
he was in the main event picture for 9 Manias straight, right? Um,
Right.
so roughly, I'm not saying that concrete like 100% for sure, um, but he was in I think WrestleMania 20 was when he won his first title, and then like every year
Hmm.
after that, he was in the title picture for Mania, right?
Right.
Um, any rate, John Cena, goat. He puts over Jey Uso in a big way, and I think more so I'm like Triple H understands the need to build new stars, right? And I think that that's the one thing he's trying to tackle. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at the women's United States Championship and you look at the women's Intercontinental Championship. These aren't women that have been around for a long time. When you
Right.
talk about Chelsea Green and Dakota Kai. I'm sorry, it's Lyra Valkyria is the women's
Yeah.
Intercontinental Champion.
Hmm.
You you have you have these really new to the main roster in the last year
Hmm.
holding these mid card women's title. Triple H wants that generation of female superstars to feel important and like they have something to fight towards coming out of NXT. It's not like they're coming up from NXT just gunning straight for the main women's title. Like you
Right.
have to work yourself up to that. But those mid card women's title give them something to work towards. That's a reasonable milestone goal for them. Um, Charlotte Flair winning the women's Rumble, I kept saying last week, I was just like, it just seems like the obvious choice here, and it just makes so much sense. I just wanted to not pick her because it just felt so apparent that she was going to win it. I was like, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't think Triple H is gonna do that, and then he did anyway, and I was like, it's fine, it's whatever. Like,
Because you don't you you could have done Liv, but she already had the whole year, so they're trying to get her away from the title for now. Let her do a couple things. 'Cause obviously, it seems like her next feud might be with Alexa Bliss, which I am totally down for. That's going to sell itself. Um,
I think the
and
Alexa Bliss, the Alexa Bliss return was the best return in the Rumble. Um,
yeah, for sure,
and
big one of the
and
biggest pops.
Cheyenne was like, I can't believe they didn't have any big returns for the men's Rumble. And I was like, now you see, the reason that they did that was because if they had a huge return, everyone would want that person to win the Rumble instead of Jey Uso, right?
Yeah, because you already had
So,
Cena, so obviously
and
everybody was
Roman,
backing Cena, and you had the stack of like Cena, Roman, Punk, Seth Rollins, so it was already stacked going into that final little bit, but you knew obviously something had to go down, but uh, I like the way that they had CM Punk eliminate Roman and Seth because even if he's eventually trying to target Roman, he can use Seth Rollins as the decoy to really throw everything off. But
yeah,
uh yeah, it's just
I
I
actually,
thought this Rumble was probably the most stacked in the last couple years.
and I honestly like sitting and watching through the women's Rumble. I was like, this is easily the best women's Rumble that I've seen. I was like, I
Right.
feel like the match flow was really good. I feel um like the order of who came out and when was really good.
Yeah.
Roxanne Perez from NXT gets the Iron Woman longest in the match. She was in for like an hour and 8 minutes. I was like, okay,
And and she got to stay all the way until her and Charlotte. So you obviously know she's going to get the kick up to the main roster pretty soon.
and
So
she's going to be featured in prominent feuds. Like they clearly see a lot in her, and like
yeah,
she's not coming up to the main roster and just kind of there. Like I
right.
think she's going to be on TV every week, which good for her. Um, happy for her. Um, yeah,
Now
Alexa Bliss,
she's
man,
on SmackDown, I would assume, right?
Roxanne.
I was thinking Alexa Bliss, but because
So
with
I
her coming out with the Fiend stuff and knowing that the Wyatt Six are on SmackDown, because obviously the rumor was Alexa was supposed to come back during the debut of the Netflix, but then they moved Wyatt Six over to SmackDown, so they obviously had to move some things around. But knowing that she came out with like some of her new Fiend and Lily gear, uh, obviously seems that she'll eventually have a talk with Uncle Howdy and or Bo Dallas. So
Yeah, I just based on the things that I've read online, like the dirt sheets or whatever, it did as of 2 to 3 weeks ago appear that they were trying to get her aligned with the Wyatt Six, and then after the Rumble, apparently the word was she's going to be on Raw moving forward. So I was like, okay, I wonder if they changed plans and said, okay, the Wyatt Six, one of them's injured, so they're on the shelf for a minute, but we really want to get you back on TV. So we're gonna build this feud between you and Liv Morgan on Raw, and then maybe after Mania she starts doing the Wyatt Six stuff. Like
yeah,
I wouldn't be too upset about that. Any other bigger takeaways in either Rumble? I mean, we gotta talk we got to talk about like some of our favorite moments within the Rumbles. Like we're not going to go through entry 1, 2, 3 all the way down.
yeah, dude, that spear by Braun Breaker to I
I
speed
sh-
or I chose
I
speed.
sh-
Oh my
I show
god,
speed.
he got messed up.
I have seen
Took
that
it like a
online.
champ.
I've seen that online every day since Saturday, and we'll
Yeah,
watch it over and over and over again.
the
Man,
dude took it like a champ. So,
I I literally jumped up out of my seat and was like,
mhm,
"Oh my god!" He literally plowed him from one end of the ring all the way over to the other. Like, shut up.
right. And then what was the other one? Seth Rollins doing the double stomp to Roman's face. Oh my god, we just all three of us were like, "Oh my god, he just killed Roman."
Yeah. Well, Matt was like, I think his second, I think that was an accident. And then I went back and rewatched it after I got home, and I was like, yeah, no, he put both of his feet on his head. Like he wanted that to look absolutely devastating. Um,
Yeah, that was
I
that was brutal.
That was brutal. I will say, um, Rey Mysterio and Penta starting off the men's rumble, gold, so good.
Yeah.
And like Rey was making his entrance into the ring, being number one. He obviously had 18 minutes to get there. and um I think Matt was like, so who do you think they put against him? And I was just like Penta, and all of you were like, yep, that's totally. And then his music hit, and I was like,
Yep.
got him. Um,
Yeah, I've been a fan of Penta so far. I mean, I didn't get to see him much in AEW, but he's been, getting some quality matches, and at least they've been having him win. So obviously they're trying to continuously get him over. But
mhm,
I like him so far.
yeah,
We'll see if he is able to cut somewhat of a decent promo, depending on what it is. But yeah,
yeah,
I can definitely say that since Penta has started in WWE, I'm a fan.
yeah. I'm a fan too. I'm here for it. I love his look. I love his music. It's only a matter of time before his younger brother Ray Phoenix gets there, and it, and we're gonna get we're
Yeah,
gonna get we're gonna get the Lucha Brothers, which is Penta and Ray Phoenix against Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee, and just book it for WrestleMania already. Like I'm already calling it.
right. Yeah,
Cody versus Kevin Owens, I thought was I knew it was gonna be a brutal match, but they did not disappoint, man.
it
I
was
thought
stellar, stellar.
I
Yeah,
I went back and like watched that match again. I was like,
the Alabama Slam into the ladder was oh
Kevin Owens couldn't have sold that any better. Like
any better.
the way that they positioned it for him to land and just stay folded like that for like 5 minutes straight.
Yeah,
I was I was like, this guy is a rock
kudos,
star. I mean,
kudos.
for him to have not held a major title in the last 9 years,
Hmm.
we should say eight because I think it was fall of 2016 after Finn won the Universal title and then had to relinquish it, and then Kevin Owens wound up holding it.
Yeah,
Um, I can't like I'm pretty shocked that Kevin Owens hasn't had one of the main titles since then. Um, and I was like, when Kevin Owens loses, what do we do? And like we've all been just like, oh yeah, Randy Orton versus KO just as the like, duh, of course.
Duh. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that'll be another good thing to come when Randy does return and see how KO responds to that. Yeah.
right. Well, I once they had Sammy come out in the match for Kevin versus Cody, and it was like,
Mhm.
what's Sammy doing out there? And I was like, the way that they set it up between Kevin and Sammy on Raw last week, I was like, this is Kevin basically expecting Sammy to be there to help him to make sure everything's
Mhm.
good. And then Cody Rhodes threw Alabama slammed Kevin through the ladder, and Sammy just stood there and watched it happen. I was like, well, Sami Zayn, if Kevin Owens ain't dead, Sami Zayn is once Kevin gets on his feet and moving. And
Oh yeah.
sure enough, end of Raw, package pile driver. Dude,
Yeah, that package pile driver is brutal.
I thought it was just us that the Netflix was getting glitchy, and then I saw online it was like everybody's Netflix at the end of Raw was just getting super
Yeah. I had a
super
couple
blocky.
buffering issues, but I was practicing a little bit during the end of Raw, but I was just
Mm,
kind of catching some things. So I'm not sure if I had a couple glitches, but when I was watching earlier, there was a couple, dropouts here and there.
yeah,
But you
something.
guys were also saying that you had a couple glitches. So I'm like, all right, at least it's not just me. But
Yeah, there were people online saying a bunch of people online complaining about it, so it wasn't just us.
mhm.
Um, anyway, I'm like, all right, are they really doing KO versus Sami Zayn, like building that for WrestleMania? I was like, yeah,
I'm all for it.
or are they setting it up for the Elimination Chamber because they're going to be in Canada? Um,
True, true.
but that package pile driver. Now, Kevin didn't give Randy Orton the package pile driver. He just gave him
No.
a straight up pile driver. Um,
Yeah, that was like traditional pile driver. And Cody and Sammy got that new.
yeah, Cody took the package pile driver from Kevin Owens at the end of Saturday Night Main Event, December 14th, and then they didn't clear Cody until last week. Like Cody wasn't cleared until a week ago,
Yeah,
apparently.
that's right. Yeah.
So timeline wise, Sami Zayn is going to be out until after the Elimination Chamber.
Mhm.
So I'm like, are they really doing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for WrestleMania? Probably, because I don't know what else you're doing with those guys.
Yeah, if you're trying to move Owens away from it to give Cody time to promote his match with whoever obviously it's going to be the winner of the elimination chamber because Jey is going to face Gunther for sure. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
give Cody a lot more time to focus on his next opponent.
yeah. I think, I mean, Cena's Cena's promo after the Rumble certainly seemed to indicate like, okay, he's winning the Chamber, no questions asked.
Mm,
Um, he's going to face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, which totally get that. I still feel strongly that John Cena is going to be chasing for that number 17 this whole year.
for sure.
I'm like, because if he wins number 17 at WrestleMania and then is just defending it, what else does he have to do
Hmm.
the rest of the year? I think he's going to be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and Cody Rhodes gets a definitive win over John Cena. Now you have Cody Rhodes ending Roman Reigns' 4-year streak and then beating John Cena at
John Cena.
WrestleMania. just you got to
Two
build
big
Cody
main
Rhodes. Yeah, you got to give Cody Rhodes all of these moments of clout and bragging
moments.
rights. Because the Kevin Owens ladder match was like the best Cody title defense that I've seen all year.
Mm-hmm.
It felt the most important. It felt like there might be a slim chance that Kevin Owens could win it if there was some tomfoolery. Someone took Cody out, and all Kevin had to do was go up the ladder and get the belts, right?
Right.
Yeah, it certainly seems like The Rock isn't doing anything at this WrestleMania, just the way that the picture is
Yeah.
laid out, which is it's fine. Let's talk about the Chamber first.
Yeah.
Are we done talking about the Rumble? Generally speaking, I know we didn't talk about the
Generally
tag match.
speaking, yeah. I
I,
mean,
we didn't talk about the tag match. I wound up like having to break out my computer and do a work thing during that match.
yeah. I mean, much to really just say about it. I mean, I think we both expected DIY to walk out with that, which I thought it was a good. I thought it was a good match. I mean, I'm a real fan of the Motor City guys, and um, they just look authentic to me. And I didn't really catch much of their NXT run, but they just seem like that typical uh, tag team. So seeing a couple of their matches on the main roster, I'm like, okay, these guys can actually
They
do some stuff. So
they were not in NXT very long. They
yeah,
or yeah, because usually when guys come into NXT, they're there for like a year and then they come up. I think they were there 3 to 6 months and then they come up to the main roster and then like immediately within like 2 to 3 weeks won the tag team titles. It's
right.
like, okay, so they needed a credible tag team to enter the tag division to basically break up like, okay, there's only like a couple top teams and then everyone else is just kind of
Hmm.
like floating around down here, right?
Right.
Yeah, I like them. I think they're pretty good. I'm interested to see where their storylines take them from here. Other than that, let's get to the Chamber. John Cena is obviously in. CM Punk defeats Sami Zayn to qualify,
Hmm.
and immediately, I'm like, this is Cena's last Chamber appearance. They are going to
He's
stack that
stacked.
They're going to
It's getting
stack that
stacked.
Chamber, and that's why I was like, it already feels like we're going to get. And granted, I have Seth Rollins in this equation.
Yeah.
He's on Raw, but so is CM Punk. So it's not like, okay, it's 6 guys from SmackDown exclusively.
Yeah. I think the brand thing is totally just expunged to the point where, but
Well,
again, like you were saying, I think the Chamber is going to be stacked. Like you're going to have CM Punk,
you're
Seth
going to have
Rollins.
Roman. I think
Gotta have
Roman's going to
Roman.
be in that match.
Yeah, I think you got to have Roman in there.
Yeah.
So that is
It's
4.
okay. Yeah. Next week on Raw, we're getting Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio. That's the one that I am 50-50, and I'm like, I think if on paper you're looking at it, Seth Rollins is facing Finn Balor in a couple weeks, but I have Seth winning that match. Because Seth has worked with Cena a couple times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if Cena got the hand pick, let's say Triple H told Cena like, all right, you're going to win the Chamber, you're going to face Cody at Mania. Pick the 5 people that you would like to be in the Chamber with you in the match.
Mm-hmm.
And Cena will be like, well, I'm not going to, you're not going to see. I don't think Finn Balor goes into that Chamber. Like it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe he does, but that just means he'd be beating Seth Rollins.
Right.
And the only way Finn is beating Seth Rollins is if Roman Reigns comes out and costs Seth the match.
That's true.
Um, but yeah, I think it's going to be CM Punk, or I'm sorry, John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, um, Rey Mysterio. I totally sent this to you guys already the
Hmm.
other day because I had all six. Oh, AJ Styles.
Yeah. We didn't talk about it on the pod last week, but I think a day or two later, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot about AJ Styles. I mean, he's definitely going
and
to return because
and
it's
and
been a
then
couple months since he's been out of work.
yeah, and he was out in the Rumble, and I was like, cool, AJ's back.
Hmm.
Um, AJ obviously having worked with Cena, they had their stellar SummerSlam and Royal Rumble matches for the title, where AJ won the SummerSlam match, um, and then Cena won the Rumble match. This was 8 years ago. Yeah, that sounds right. Um, maybe it wasn't 8 years ago. 34, 41. Yeah, 7 years ago. That
Right.
sounds right. Any rate, um,
Math.
Jo- John Cena, nah, John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, and AJ Styles are that's my pick for the six for the
I like it.
Chamber, and it's solid. I'm like, this is a heavy hitter freaking
Yeah, because like you said,
lineup here.
if this is Cena's last time in the Elimination Chamber, he's going to want to face the best of the best to be able to earn his way through the rest of the year. So I definitely expect this to be another stacked event around John Cena.
If Rey Mysterio is not in it and Logan Paul is in it, I A won't be surprised and
No,
B won't be upset about it because
me either.
Logan has experience in the chamber. I I I can't wait. I think it's probably gonna be one of my favorite chamber matches ever. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, this is going
outside
to be
of
one for the books.
yeah. You think for Mania that they're gonna give us CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins in a triple threat match? Like that just seems to be the direction that they're going, right?
Right, 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 right.
I mean, for me, it feels like CM Punk is just filling in for Dean Ambrose not being there, and you
Hmm.
get Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus not Dean Ambrose but CM Punk, and it works. I'm here for it. But we can
Yeah,
talk Mania. We can talk Mania way down the road.
yeah,
You
we'll
want to
have
wrap
more
this
than enough
one up,
time to
man?
talk about that. Yeah, we're gonna have more time as it gets closer to Mania. We'll get a lot of our Mania predictions because we haven't even gotten anything really decisive on like matches yet. We have, some probabilities because Jay now has to decide who he's going to go, but we obviously know he's going to get Gunther. Uh, you know, we'll see after the Elimination Chamber about Cody's opponent and starting to get into mid card and where things are placed. So again, it's just I like how it's staying unpredictable, where it can keep going multiple ways, and then just how the Rumble was. We thought a totally different thing than what they were expecting. No, none of us thought that Jay was going to win the Elimination Chamber, more so even eliminating John Cena to win the Royal Rumble. So this is definitely going to be another unpredictable and like on your toes uh year of WrestleMania, road to WrestleMania, whatever you want to call it. And I'm down for it. That's what keeps it interesting instead of having it be something similar to what it was last year. You're always trying to outdo yourself. So I always love the probabilities of what's going to be happening.
It certainly seems like both Rumble winners are waiting until after the Chamber to make their decision. So it's
Yeah,
just it's creating all sorts of uncertainty in the next couple weeks. So
for sure.
that being
And
said,
yeah, looking forward to it, man. Uh, everybody, hope you guys enjoy the Super Bowl. Go Birds. Hopefully, it is a fly Eagles fly weekend. And speaking of this weekend, I'm going to be playing over at the Rusty Nail Saturday night, the night before the Super Bowl. Come see me and a bunch of other local artists that I'll be playing with. I'm going to be opening up the show, so I plan to be doing a Fly Eagles Fly with everybody that night. So if you guys want to come hang out, I'll be at the Rusty Nail. My set is from 7:30 to 8:05. So come early, hang out with me. I'll have a little bit of merch for sale after, and I'll be hanging out with and watching the rest of the guys. So go to my website, spokenlikemusic.com. Everything's there, or you can follow me on the socials and figure out all your information. But as far as the podcast here, make sure you guys are following us at One Set Pod. All our socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You know it. Give us a shout out on our Gmail. Hit us up. Let us know what you're thinking. Any positive, negatives, anything's always welcome with us. Check out our merch. All our descriptions are below. Share with a friend. And thank you all for continuing to support us. And this has been another one. Anything you want to say, Bud, before we get out of here?
all the love, everybody, and go Birds. You
Go
know it.
Birds. See you guys.